Here's a story in the Philadelphia Inquirer that proves what we were just talking about. Beck and Fox pretend to fight for the little guy, but do nothing to promote equality. This is also why you cannot have the argument of whether the Republicans need to move right or left until you have this conversation. Is Coughlin the radio priest who railed against FDR in the 1930s? That's becoming a common refrain among liberals who hear echoes of Coughlin in Beck's attacks on President Obama. Conservatives recoil at the charge. First of all, nobody even knows who Father Coughlin was. Father Coughlin is a guy I had to look up when I was studying the Great Depression. Before anybody charged me, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the Great Depression. What happened? Who were the players, etc., etc. This is a guy who stood with him. But then they had a disagreement. FDR's people sent to people from the administration to Father Coughlin and said, "Please, you gotta come back to FDR. You gotta help us out with a New Deal." Towards the end of the New Deal, he said, "This is a sham. This is a total and complete sham." The other thing about Father Coughlin is he was okay with the extermination of Jews. So, anti-Semite. This guy, he was, what, I think he had 70, I can't remember, millions and millions and millions of people.
I think I read 40 million.
40 million people listening to him on radio. Back then, that was a ton. He was very powerful. Okay, so a common refrain among liberals who hear echoes of Coughlin in Beck's attacks on President Obama. I contend they don't even know who he is. Conservatives recoiled the charge, noting that Coughlin vilified Jews. No matter what you think of Beck, who joined Fox in January and already draws more than 2 million viewers every evening, he is no anti-Semite. No Coughlin. Again, thank you. Whose attack, listen, this is where it becomes key, whose attacks on poverty amid plenty would surely earn him the label leftist or even socialist on Fox News today. No, progressive. Indeed, before he descended into Jew baiting, Coughlin's chief target was economic inequality. And that's what's missing from the rants of Glenn Beck and his fellow commentators on Fox, who have managed to make me nostalgic for the days of Father Coughlin. He's nostalgic for a Jew baiter, for a race baiter, for a guy who's like, the ovens aren't that bad. Because I won't rail against inequality. He's also, let's be clear, Coughlin was a kook. He is not just an anti-Semite. He claims the Great Depression was caused by a conspiracy of international bankers who undermined America's sovereignty and economy. I'm telling you, if the kook, you mark my words, if the kook label doesn't stick to me, because that's what they've been trying to do. I'm nuts. I'm crazy. I'm a kook. If you've listened to me over the years, you know that I'm a fairly reasoned man. You may not agree with me, but I'm a fairly reasoned man. I am bothered by inconsistencies. But I'm not a kook. That's what they're trying to paint me as now. If that doesn't work, mark my words, the next thing they're going to come after is he's an evil genius businessman. And they will come after me on, look at the business. Look, he doesn't mean a word. They've already tried. He doesn't mean a word that he says, but that's because he's crazy. Now they're going to they will tie it into, he's a crazy businessman who just says these things to make money. That's all that matters.
Just one clarification, they won't use the word genius. I promise.
If it's only in the word evil.
Yeah, if it's tied to evil.
If it's got a hyphen.
But not genius, not a person who is evil and a genius, just you're a genius at being evil.
Yeah, right. Yeah.